Alhamdulillah, la ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar. Today we want to continue again with chapter 23. And as we come into the end of the chapter, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is dividing the people into two classes: believers, disbelievers. The people who are successful and the people who are losers. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala throughout the Quran and throughout the chapter is making distinction. It's a contrast. Believers, what they're required to do. Disbelievers, what they're doing. And the end results of the believers and the end results of the disbelievers. Yesterday we stopped at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is making a distinction and saying there is a team, there's a group of the people who believe in this message. They will ibadi. They were my slaves. What does slave mean? That they fulfilled the criteria of being a slave. What's a slave supposed to do? Fulfill. Whatever his master tells him what to do, he does. Whatever his master asks him to, the tasks, the duties, the actions, he does. With love. Because the reward is so huge. At the end, he will collect, he will gain freedom. Remember, in the paradise, there's what? There's no work. You don't have to work. You don't have to look for a job. You don't have to wake up early to go to your workplace. You don't have to get sick. You're not gonna be ill. You're not gonna get tired. You're not gonna fall asleep. You don't have to clean. So, at the end of the day, after you do all the actions you're supposed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks you to do as a slave, what's gonna happen at the end? You'll be freed. You'll be freed. You'll be free. But still the people who are not going to do their actions. They're not going to do what's supposed to do, what they're supposed to do. They're not going to believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They're not going to believe in Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. They're going to keep arguing back and forth. They're going to still be enslaved in the hell. Because hell is like a jail. You have no freedom. You will be, shackles will be around you. You will be shackled. You will have all these restrictions. The food, specific food you can eat over there, which is of course horrible. It's torture. You're going to be a slave again. But the freedom which the believers will get at the end will be the beautiful freedom. Everything is available, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have kept that part of paradise. You cannot even imagine it, because there's a lot. It's an upgrade. May Allah bring all these people who want that paradise and admit them there. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, talking about the believers, they're asking Allah for forgiveness. They did mistakes, they learned that it's a mistake, they ask, sorry God, please, we're not going to do it again. And they don't do it again. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive them, forgive their sins. And He'll give them mercy. And we explained this yesterday. So what happened from the disbelievers? The disbelievers all the time. And the people who try to just find excuse not to believe. They take the believers as mocking. They mock them. Making fun of them. Poke fun at them. Then we're so busy. They were so busy criticizing the Islam, criticizing the Quran, criticizing Muhammad alayhi salam, criticizing the companion of the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salam. All this stuff, they keep criticizing it with no knowledge, with no guidance. And that kind of criticizing and negative energy kept them away. Kept them away from where? From understanding the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Understand the true religion. Following the true religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is Islam. Following Muhammad alayhi salatu حتى أنسوكم ذكري وكنتم منهم تضحكون. Indeed, that kind of criticizing, this kind of mocking, this kind of degradation, what's happened? You also were laughing, poking fun of them, all kind of stuff, making all kind of cartoons, making all kind of stories, just making fun and laugh. So you, by doing this, you totally were, your heart was concealed, was kept away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He forgot you. And He will forget you because you chose to do so as a disbeliever. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إِنِّي جَزَيْتَهُمُ الْيَوْمَ بِمَا صَبَرُوا. Indeed, at the hereafter, at the judgment day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward the believers. Why? Again, there is nothing, and these people who are just enter Islam and become new Muslims, they think it's going to be easy. Everything is going to be smooth. No. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not going to give you anything for free. He has to test you more and more to see you entered Islam because of Him or because of somebody else. You entered Islam and you're doing your duties and you're becoming a Muslim because of the time, or you can continue on that path. That's why when people enter Islam, you'll see more problems happening to them. Their family, if the family is not Muslim, they're starting to fight them. Or even if the family is Muslims, but the kids are trying to become more Muslim, for example, wearing hijab or headscarf, the boy is trying to grow up his beard, so or try to come to the masjid to pray, they'll see fighting from his family. Oh, what are you doing? So all of this, Allah's testing the believer, seeing, you're going to stay on the straight path or you're going to fall. So that's called, and you need patience. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, be patient with yourself. Keep going. Don't give up. Because of the patience and because of you will withstand the physical abuse, verbal abuse sometimes physical abuse from the disbelievers, from people who don't have iman, or people who don't even understand the Islam and what they're supposed to do in this life. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't create us for fun, didn't create us for no purpose, but there is a purpose behind our creation. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because of that patient, and you are strong, patient believer, innahum humul faizun. You will be among the people who successful. The people who will gain the paradise at the end. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is turning back to the disbelievers. Disbelievers, when they're here in the day of judgment, they're regretting. It's a day of regret, honestly, for these disbelievers. It's a day of recognition. It's a day of celebration for the believers. But if the disbelievers, as the Quran is mentioning, is a day of regret. Then they will come, they will ask themselves, wow, how long did we stay on earth? قُلْ كَمْ لَبِثْتُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ عَدَدَ السِّنِينَ. How many years did we stay on earth? They're trying to see, was it worth it? Did we really enjoy anything? Did we gained anything from our lack of understanding? From our lack of action? From all the mocking and all what we have, the disbelievers have done? Was it worth it? So they'll ask, oh, how many years did we stay on earth anyhow? قالوا لبثنا يوما أو بعض يوم فاسأل العادين. Indeed, we stayed a few days. Even a day, less than a day. يوما أو بعض يوم. A day or less than a day. Ask those people who count. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala want to try to tell us what? That this life is going to pass so quickly. It's just a quick test. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be able to filter, screen those who will worthy of going into the paradise and those who are not worthy of getting into the paradise. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, it was just a small period of time. You weren't able to stand and understand and answer correctly. Because of your lack of knowledge. You didn't even try to get the knowledge. You didn't even want to understand. The temptation, the fun, all these whims and desires around you took you away from the true path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه.